All right, y'all. I don't care what anyone says, but LeBron James, clearly still that guy. 39 years old, just led Team USA to another win with a clutch fourth quarter. And look, this is coming from a lifelong Kobe Bryant fan. You see him right here behind me. I'm a diehard Kobe Bryant fan and a Laker fan, but I got to put some respect on LeBron's name because he's clearly still that guy. Welcome everyone to episode 1 of The Deep Dive. This YouTube show has been a long time in the coming. It's something I've been thinking about for years now. And I've gone back and forth of should I do it, should I not? I've had friends tell me, hey bro, like you know so much about sports, NBA, NFL, you work in the space, like why don't you just start your own thing? Even my dad, he was like, bro, do apna show shuru kar. Like he's telling me Punjabi, he's like, come on bro, start your own show. Because he's seen so many people do it, and he was like, bro, you know so much about all these games. You follow these things so closely. Just start your own thing. And so finally, after a couple of years, I was like, man, it's time for me to do this. And you guys know how it is. Anytime you want to do something, whether it's starting a show, going to the gym, new diet, whatever, right? The hardest thing is always taking that first step and starting. And so here I am, finally doing my first episode. And let me tell you guys a little bit about myself, some background. I've worked in the sports media industry since graduating in college. I went to San Jose State here in the Bay Area, born and raised here in the Bay. And since graduating, I worked at Cron 4 News over in San Francisco, Yahoo Sports, Bally Sports, NBC Sports Edge. So I've been in the space for a long time, and I've done stuff such as covering the 2019 NBA Finals, 2019 All-Star Game in Charlotte, covered the Warriors Media Day. I've covered the 2022 NBA playoffs when the Grizzlies played the Warriors out here in San Francisco, and also when the Mavericks played the Warriors in the conference finals. So have experience being inside those press conference rooms, talking to players after the game, being at that environment and soaking that all in and knowing what it's like. So, my resume is definitely speaks for itself, and I have a lot to say when it comes to sports. And so, I'm ready to do this now. And it's not just basketball. I've done some writing with fantasy football and fantasy football producing videos too. And so I'm very big on fantasy. Going to be playing in 3 to 4 leagues this year as well, just like many of you guys do. So I'm excited to talk football and get into all that. And as you can see, I'm a Lakers fan, but being here in the Bay, I get a lot of shit from all my Warrior friends who are always like, bro, how you a Laker fan in the Bay? And I'm like, man, I grew up watching Kobe, and that's all I got to say. So RIP to Bean, but I'm also a huge 49ers fan and a San Francisco Giants fan. So that's where my allegiance lies when it comes to sports. But, I'll always do my best to be unbiased when it comes to takes. And over here, we don't do hot takes. We do real takes. So let's get into it now. Today's programming for episode 1 here of The Deep Dive. All right, I got to start by talking about Team USA because Olympics are about to start, and USA has been getting they've been getting tested here in their exhibition play, most recently with their win over Germany. It was a 92-88 game that came down to the wire. And, as I said to start the show off, LeBron James, I mean, what more can you say? At 39 years old, this guy's carrying a team that has Stephen Curry, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, a bunch of superstars on this team. And it's 39-year-old LeBron James who down the stretch in back-to-back games now has helped Team USA walk away with a win. And let's take a look at this sequence that he had here in this game versus Germany. This started at the 4:08 mark in the fourth quarter. LeBron gets a rebound on the defensive end, comes down the other end, scores a layup. Germany comes back. LeBron steals the ball, scores another layup. Germany comes back down again, shoots the ball, misses. LeBron gets the rebound. He gets fouled, hits 2 free throws. Germany comes back down, shoots, misses again. LeBron gets another rebound. He gets fouled again. This time he misses 2 free throws. And then when Germany comes back down once more, Franz Wagner goes up for a layup. LeBron was completely vertical. There was very, very light contact. He didn't swing at the ball trying to go for the block. Just straight up, he was vertical. Gets called for the foul. It was a soft call, a bad one. But then 126 left. USA is up 80-79. Anthony Davis, LeBron James's Los Angeles Lakers teammate, finds LeBron on the right wing for a wide open three, and LeBron knocks it down. The USA goes up by 4, and then with 42 seconds left, LeBron has the ball, top of the key. Dennis Schroeder, his former Los Angeles Lakers teammate, guarding him. LeBron takes his time, backs him down, works all the way into the paint, pump fakes, and finishes. And that ices the game. And LeBron does his patented, flexing his shoulders, his traps, letting everyone know he's still that guy. And it was an all-time performance. You just have to admire LeBron James, whether you're a fan of him or not, whether you're a Laker fan or not. If you're a fan of basketball or just sports in general and you like to see greatness, you have to cherish moments like this when you see one of the game's all-time greatest players put the team on his back in a game like this and just finish it down the stretch. I mean, he scored Team USA's final 11 points to close out that game. And if you weren't watching it, go back and just watch the highlights. And even seeing that, not in real time, you're still going to be amazed because the way LeBron's going up and down the court and just he had his hands all over this game down the stretch. It's just something that was so fun to see. And it's performances like that we'll look back on one day and say, man, I remember watching that game and, LeBron carrying this team to the end. It's special. And everyone on Twitter, going crazy. You can look at some of these tweets here. Chris Mannix over at Sports Illustrated. LeBron James, 5 months shy of his 40th birthday, is singularly responsible for the U.S. not entering the Olympics on a 2-game losing streak, which is facts. This tweet from Elijah Taylor had me rolling. No disrespect. We worried about this country post Joe Biden, but what is our plan post LeBron James? This shit is deeply troubling. We've seen all the talks in politics going around about, Joe Biden dropping out of the race and whatnot, but this one had me rolling. I even tweeted, I'm like, you know what? I nominate LeBron for the 2024 Democratic bid. I think it's time. And if he brings home the gold for USA, build him a statue outside the White House. He's been that good. But he just had Twitter buzzing. Everyone saying he's one of the greatest players of all time, which is undisputed, right? We all know that at this point. 20 plus years in NBA, LeBron's done everything he's done. And something that was really funny about this is Rob Pelinka, Lakers GM, catching strays, and much deserved too. He was trending on Twitter after the game because everyone's basically like, bro, LeBron is still playing at this level. Anthony Davis has been playing at a very elite level in this exhibition play too. He's arguably been the best player, if not the second best player, right behind LeBron throughout these 5 exhibition games the USA's had. So you have LeBron playing at this level. You have Anthony Davis playing at this level. And Rob Pelinka has done nothing so far to improve this Los Angeles Lakers roster. That just a season ago won 47 games, right? And was in the play-in, made the playoffs, obviously lost in the first round to the Nuggets. And, we don't need to get too much into that right now. That's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother deep dive for another show. But yeah, it was funny just seeing Rob Pelinka catching strays because people are like, you can't be wasting a LeBron James season again because he can clearly play at a high level for not just this year, but probably another year or two after that as well. And, they have to make some moves to put a better team around LeBron and AD while they can. But again, another conversation for another day. Going back to Team USA, they closed out their exhibition play going 5-0. And, I want to talk about the controversy that was going on sometime last week when people were calling for Joel Embiid's neck, saying that Steve Kerr needs to pull him from the starting lineup. And today, Joel Embiid had a great game, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, had an incredible block where he pinned a shot on the backboard. Anthony Edwards came the other way and slammed it on the other end. It was one of the more exciting sequences of the game. But we got to understand, Joel Embiid is this team's biggest body, right? And he is perfect for that starting lineup. like Steve Kerr was saying, the three guys that are set in the starting lineup are LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Joel Embiid. And I totally agree with that, because what Joel Embiid brings to that starting lineup is exactly what they need. He's so great at setting screens, running that dribble handoff action at the top of the key. We've seen him do it with LeBron, with Stephen Curry, and he's great at getting guys like Steph and LeBron open. And we haven't even seen him with KD yet, who will presumably be in that starting lineup too once he's healthy. But we see the impact that Embiid has on both ends. He's a 7-footer who comes in at around, I think, 280 pounds. And in FIBA play, you need that big body guy. As great as Anthony Davis has been, as great as Bam Adebayo's been, those two guys, they play really well together, and they do it good together off the bench. And there's no space for them both in the starting lineup. So if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm keeping this lineup the way it is with Joel Embiid in there because of everything he brings on both ends of the floor. And yes, the first few games he definitely struggled, but we've seen him now, playing a few games, getting his feet under him, getting a feel for, hey, I don't have to carry this team on offense like he did with the 76ers, right? You have LeBron James, you have Stephen Curry, you have Anthony Edwards, you have Jason Tatum. You have so much talent around you that you don't need to be doing the most on offense all the time. And he looks settled in now, and it's been great to see. He was hitting shots today on the boards, knocked down a triple today as well. His finishing has been getting better, and I think now he's settled in, and we're going to see him continue to improve as the Olympics go on into group play. And group play kicks off for the United States on Saturday when they take on Serbia. They played Serbia, Nikola Jokic, in their exhibition play, and they won that game easily, 105-79. Jokic struggled in that game, 6 of 19 shooting, only finished with 16 points, 11 boards, and 3 assists. Bogdanovic didn't play in that game, and he's a key player for Serbia. He will likely be back in Saturday's matchup. But Kevin Durant obviously hasn't played yet either, and that was a big factor for USA. But this game is going to be much more different than the first one. I think when it comes to USA's group play, Serbia is going to be their hardest matchup. And I know South Sudan nearly beat them that game. I'm going to talk about that one here in a second as well. But I think still, because of the talent that Serbia has in Nikola Jokic, Bogdanovic, and so on, they have a lot of big body guys that can knock down shots. Not to say that South Sudan doesn't, right? But again, going back to Jokic, who's arguably the greatest player in the world at this point, right? Being a multiple-time MVP and a champion and a finals MVP, I think they're still going to give the United States the hardest test that they can get in this group play. But I still expect USA to come out on top in this game. I think it was good that they had a balance of some of these games where they did blow out a couple of teams, but then also got tested a couple of times, right? Like the South Sudan game and then the Germany game as well. This USA team has gone through a few ups and downs early on, which is good. I think you need that as you enter the group play. And everyone has this expectation that Team USA should be dominating every single team, every single night, winning games by 20, 30, 40 points. And sure, when you're playing a team like maybe South Sudan, who they were 42-point favorites against, they probably should have won that game by about 20 or 25. But then they beat Serbia 105-79. They beat Canada handily, right? Teams that have a lot of NBA talent on them. So they're still beating some of these teams very easily. And then other teams, hey, they're just coming out and playing hard. And sometimes that's how it is, right? You get punched in the mouth every single night when you're Team USA because you are number one team in the entire world. And teams are always going to come with their best when you're playing against the top team and guys like LeBron and Steph and so on, right? So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this group play goes. And, as I mentioned, South Sudan nearly knocked off USA that game. South Sudan led by 14 at halftime. It took a huge third quarter by USA to rally and get back into it. And then in the fourth quarter, we saw things go down to the wire. And it was LeBron James who hit the go-ahead shot with about 8 seconds left, as he drove to the paint, finished with the right hand. South Sudan had a couple of looks at the basket, couldn't finish it, and USA survived that game. And it's crazy because, South Sudan, I think it was Wenyan Gabriel, former NBA player, who was talking about this, but they don't have any indoor courts in South Sudan. It's not a country that's very well off financially. And, here in the United States, basketball is so big. You can go to a gym anytime you want, get some shots up, get some training in, get some pickup games in, whatever it is. But it's not like that in South Sudan. And so for this team to take USA down the stretch and nearly pull off that upset win, which would have been one of the biggest upsets, not only in basketball history, but in sports history, right? For that team to have done that, had they done it, would have been incredible. And so they know they're capable of beating Team USA, right? They have the confidence of like, hey, we just took this team down to the stretch and we were seconds away from winning this game. So when it comes to the group play, South Sudan's going to be coming with it again, and USA has to be prepared for it this time, which I think they will be. I don't think we'll see as close of a game as we saw the first time around. I think USA will be much more prepared. They'll watch a tape, obviously, and again, having Kevin Durant in the lineup will certainly help. But I think in terms of the order of the hardest games they'll have, Serbia will be the hardest, then South Sudan. And then the last team in USA's group is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico doesn't have as much talent or size as these other teams, like Serbia and South Sudan. But Jose Alvarado, Pelicans point guard, we all know about him. GTA, Grand Theft Alvarado, is the heart of that Puerto Rican team. And while they're going to be heavy underdogs against the USA, they're a feisty group. They're one of those scrappy teams that's going to work to get under USA's skin. We'll see GTA picking up Steph full court or picking up Drew Holiday full court, right? And they're really going to try to get into these guys from the start, get physical with them, get grimy. That's their style of play, and that's how it is in FIBA too. These teams play really physical. And so while I expect the U.S. to win that game easily, it should be a battle still. They're gonna have to earn their win, and it's gonna be a fun one. But I'm excited for the Olympics. This only happens once every 4 years, and this USA team is different from other teams, right? We know about the dream team that was highlighted by Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, right? Larry Bird, the Redeem team that had Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade. And now this team, right? It's a new era. And when you look at going back to the starting lineup, which is something I want to talk about, here's who I predict should be the starting lineup, the starting five for Team USA come game one in their group play versus Serbia. Point guard, Stephen Curry. Shooting guard, Drew Holiday. Small forward, Kevin Durant. Power forward, LeBron James. And center, Joel Embiid. That's my prediction for who the starting five will be. Again, assuming if KD is healthy. Steph is Steph, obviously. Drew Holiday is that defensive specialist that they need in that lineup, the hustle guy, right? We know what he does. He picks up guys full court, switchability on defense. He can guard 1 through 5. He gets up in guys' grills, gets steals, gets rebounds. And then on offense, he's just your glue guy too, right? He sets screens. He moves around. He just knows how to be in the right spot at all times, whether it's hovering around that short corner, around the basket, setting screens for guys, slashing at the right time. He's good at finding the open man, and he can knock down the threes. We saw that today against Germany. Hit a couple of threes to start the game and also had the lob to LeBron in the fast break. So Drew Holiday's your glue guy in the lineup that you need to kind of get everyone connected. And then, Kevin Durant, being the scorer that he is going to give them another punch in the starting lineup. LeBron's been LeBron. And then, again, I made my pitch for why Embiid should be in the starting lineup. So I think that's going to be the starting five. If KD can't go for whatever reason, I think we're going to see either Jason Tatum or Devin Booker probably be in the starting lineup. And the reason I don't say Anthony Edwards when clearly he's been one of Team USA's best players is I think Steve Kerr likes Anthony Edwards off the bench. But who knows? maybe Steve Kerr will surprise us all and he'll throw Edwards into that starting lineup, and it'd be much deserved. He's the best player at the 2 guard position, I think, at this point in the NBA. I think most of us would agree with that, especially based on what he did in the playoffs this year. So if he's in that starting lineup, it's totally deserved. I think he brings a good energy off the bench for them. And then that bench unit of Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, I mentioned AD and Bam, and then you also have Devin Booker if he's coming off the bench, Derek White. They have a really good, really good, really deep bench, and Jason Tatum, right, if he's not in the starting lineup. So this team's depth is really what's going to help it win games and carry them to the end and carry them to the gold, because we've seen when the starting 5 has struggled at times in exhibition games, it was a second unit coming in. I mean, Anthony Edwards, 15 points here, 17 points there. AD getting 4 blocks. Bam, knocking down 3 triples in a game, right? They're getting contributions from so many bench guys. And that just shows you where the level of the talent is at with this team this year in particular, right? When you have guys like Anthony Edwards coming off the bench, when you have guys like Jason Tatum, who just won an NBA championship coming off the bench, right? Bam Adebayo and AD, I just can't harp on them enough. They've been so good together. And can you just imagine for a second if those 2 guys played on an NBA team together, whether it was the Miami Heat or the Los Angeles Lakers or a third team, whatever it is. If those 2 guys were on your front line, protecting your paint, switching 1 through 5, I mean, they would just torment teams to death with their defense. And AD has been a great cleanup guy. He's been great at getting boards, going back up, getting Team USA second possessions, and then Bam's been able to stretch the floor and really knock down shots. It's something that I think a lot of us haven't really seen from him before. And I think it's something that I hope Eric Spoelstra over there on the sideline is taking note of. They really need to run their offense in Miami through Bam Adebayo moving forward. Again, that's a conversation for another day too. But all in all, I'm really excited, like I said, for the return of the Olympics. Team USA is back with LeBron James leading the way. And it's crazy that, he's the first men's basketball player that is going to be a flag bearer at the Olympics in Paris for the opening ceremony. That was just announced on Monday morning. And then LeBron proceeded to have the performance that he did to carry USA to their win. So, again, an all-time performance by LeBron, a win for Team USA as they wrap up their exhibition play going 5-0, and they tip off their group play on Saturday versus Nikola Jokic and the Serbian squad. And it's going to be a great opening game. Can't wait to get started. That's Deep Dive Episode 1. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends. Tell your family. If you disagree with the take, let it be known in the comments. And if you agree with me on something, hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm here for. Ball. And don't ever forget it. Always dive off the deep end. Peace.